We're living in a country now that I don't recognize. I've never seen in my lifetime where you have to wait. I'm an American. What? Wait. What do you mean it'll be 6 months before it's here? And that's happening all the time. And people say there's no inflation. Well, as somebody who has had to buy a lot of plywood lately, really? Because that piece of plywood used to cost about $12, $15. In some places in the country, it's now $56. What's up with that? We are hitting inflation. And $1,400 in Biden bucks is not really going to hold us over. This is more important than the other headline news. We have a real crisis at our border that we need to pay attention to. But there is a article run in the Scientific American about how climate anxiety is an overwhelmingly white phenomenon. So it's not enough to be concerned about the climate. If you're white and you're doing it, you must be part of the problem. We need to reevaluate our priorities and be less concerned about whiteness and climate anxiety and more about the technology that fuels human civilization and the country that has pioneered most of it. There was another story that I read yesterday, and I don't even know where this was from. Let me see. It was on, okay, it doesn't say. But this was an article that came out, and it was talking about how collecting has become a very big deal since COVID. And it talks about, retailers are reticent to speak about the trend, stating that they don't wish to be on the record talking about nearly sold out of $90,000 earrings during a time of growing wealth inequality. People are buying watches because they're on the home at computers all the time. And so these people who are really rich are just going through the online catalogs and looking what's up for auction, et cetera, et cetera. Rolex day dates that sold on the secondary market in 2020 for $30,000 are now going upward of $50,000. Patek Philippe watches are now, you could buy them for $85,000. Now they're going for $200,000. And the reason is, they say, because Switzerland, they're not making any watches right now. So there's the demand. This article was written to make you hate rich people and how they're just buying a Mickey Mantle, baseball card and how much that's worth now, or how they're buying these old classic cars because they're how much they're worth. My grandfather told me that during the Depression, you watch what the rich people did before things got bad. Because it was as if the rich people knew something that we didn't know. And that's true. And there weren't a lot of rich people. There were people like Rockefeller back then. Now there's people with real wealth all around the country. And so some of them might be spending this money because they're bored. Or usually we go onto the yacht, but we can't get out onto the water now, so I might as well buy a $250,000 coffee table. What this article does not tell you is that some rich people are now buying things of value because they know things of intrinsic. The Germans did this in hyperinflation, and before the war, they were buying things of real value because the dollar, or in their case, the mark, was not worth what it was just the year before. And as you start to devalue, some people say now that your dollar is going to lose about 48 cents in the next 4 years. About 15% each year will be lost on the value of your dollar. So if you have $100 in the bank, in 4 years, you'll still have $100, but it will only have the purchase power of $51 or $52. Okay? That's cutting your wealth in half. And it's only because of what they have done at the central bank, the Fed, and in Washington to that dollar. You've played by the rules. This kind of situation hurts people who have played by the rules. Don't be surprised when you see things that auctions of art and everything else going for huge amounts of money, and cars all of a sudden are going for huge amounts of money. That was a 1968 Mustang. Why is it going for so much? Because people who know, people who see over the horizon are buying things of intrinsic value. They know that if they put in, I don't even know what an old Mustang cost. $100,000, $200,000, whatever. I mean, a
very nice Mustang.
Yeah, I have no idea, but
Sure.
like a showroom quality, you know what I mean?
Old school. Mm-hmm.
You know that $200,000 in that car is not going to lose 50% of its value in 4 years. It's not going to. Somebody will buy that for the equivalent of $200,000 or maybe even $150,000 4 years. 4 years down the road, but not in American money. You know, it will be more expensive in American money.
People are using these items as a store of value.
They're using them as a savings account. That's why Bitcoin is going and doing what it's doing, because Bitcoin has gone up 200%. Okay, you could go down 175%. Okay. Still, I'm gaining 25%, where I'm going to have it in a bank account and I'm going to lose 15, 20%? Yeah, you might want to think about that. The reason why I'm telling you this is not that, we have an audience that's going to go out and buy really expensive, Mustangs. Jay Leno, I'm not sure if he listens to this program. But you need to start thinking about those things. I said to somebody the other day, I don't smoke and I don't drink, but I think it's probably a pretty good idea to buy cigarettes and vacuum seal them, to buy alcohol and just keep it. Because if you don't have any money, people are going to look to trade things. And I don't know, cigarettes. I don't think I know anybody that really smokes. But
I've been trying to start, but I haven't got it going yet.
Yeah, I know, it's tough. That was my New Year's resolution. But, alcohol, things that people use, you don't have to go out and buy a Mustang. You just have to think, what could I have of value that people are going to need or want? Need is where most of us can get into and protect ourselves. What is it that people are going to need that they may not be able to afford to buy, but they might have something else that I can trade for that I might need? You have to start thinking about protecting your wealth differently. I think really for the first time since the Great Depression, and maybe the first time ever, because if this continues and we continue to spend like this, there will be no dollar left. So every dollar that you're holding on to will become worth less and less and less until it's worthless.